That's it. We're live now.
We are live.
My name is Gary.
I'm Jeremy.
And we are the Paranormal Bikers. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Paranormal Bikers. You've got Gary and Jeremy here. Today we have a very special guest coming on, which we will introduce him in a few minutes. How's things going with you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Been busy, backwards and forwards at work, but glad we can sit down and finally record some podcasts.
Yes, it's good. It's good. We've been busy, just bought a new house, so we're getting all of that set up at the moment, and it's very exciting stuff. But getting to the podcast at hand, we have a very, very, very special guest with us. He's a good friend of mine, and I think most of you people actually know him. I know you were speaking with him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting to meet someone that you've seen a couple of times and not really understand, or not understand per se, but not knowing what they've gone through to get where they are.
Yes, well, we'll discuss all of that with him when he comes on in a minute or so. If you don't know who we're talking about, I think when we talk about the show that he's been on, well, he's been on several shows, but there was probably one of the first shows that I ever started to watch and really get into this paranormal TV genre. And that was a little show called Ghost Hunters International. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes of it. I wouldn't say I've watched the whole series.
Yeah.
It's one of the more intriguing ones to watch out there, though.
Well, I just like the fact that they travel all over the world, going to some of these absolutely awesome places. And we're going to talk to him now. So I'm just about to bring him on. And let's see if he's there yet. Waiting for him. There we go. So today we have with us the ever awesome Robb Demarest. How are you, Rob?
I've done a radio show or two. It's been over a decade since I've been on TV, and that's fine. But when you introduce me like that, and your co-host says, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that show. I think I saw 2 episodes. Oh, I'm Jeremy. I think I'm better than everyone." Then we got to rewind it back.
Well,
rewind it.
We can't boost you up too much, mate. We've got to let you do that for yourself because you're ever awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, there is one man that you all know, you all love. He has brought you some of the greatest paranormal entertainment in history. Ghost Hunters International, haunting Australia. The one, the only, Robb Demarest. Let's welcome him. Rob, how are you doing today?
You can't beat that one, can you?
I'm doing well. Wouldn't it be weird if I came on and I was like, "I'm doing fine, guys. How you guys doing?"
Just a mouthful of helium before you jump on.
Oh, that would have been terrible, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't be the first time I've done it. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, mate. We're doing well. We're
not bad at all.
Really thankful for you talking to us because I know it's getting a little bit later over there. It's only early morning over here, so the time difference is a bit of a kicker when you're talking to people in Australia.
I'm used to that. I like to start off with this story, and it's very appropriate for Australia. So I came down to do a promotional tour for Haunting Australia, right? And I forget the name of the show. You guys would know better than I. It's kind of like Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
And so they bring me into the studio. The network brings me in. And they say, "Oh, you're going to be on next." And I look on, and I see on the board, it says Thursday, Robb Demarest, and Friday, Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro. So I'm like, wow, I don't have to worry about living up to anything.
Well, at least
and then I go out there. Well, so as soon as I walk out, they do the Ghostbusters theme song. And I'm like, oh, here we go. This is not going to be fun. And the hosts are trying to mock me and this and that. And, it was just so weird. Like the end of the interview was my favorite part, though. The guy who was kind of like the comedic relief, he said, so have you ever been slimed? And that's my Australian accent. I nailed it, by the way. I nailed it. You guys thought I was from Sydney.
In all honesty, I had no idea what that was, but we were hoping
That
to
was-
get you trying the Aussie accent.
It's totally
worked.
Sydney. That's Sydney right there.
I told you, it sounds English.
So yeah, that's
I don't
all I
even know
can
the
do.
sound of that, mate.
No. So he said, "Have you ever been slimed?" In the audience, studio audience. I said, "Are we still talking about ghost hunting?"
That's a whole different show, that one.
Yeah, that one I think violated a couple community recommendations, and everyone kind of was like, the audience loved it, the host loved it, the other two hosts were like, ooh, awkward. But yeah, so
Yeah, it does get like that. I mean, there's been times when I've been on TV myself over here and done radio interviews for the national radio stations over here, and it's the same thing. It's the Ghost Hunters theme song introduction every time, without fail.
Oh.
And I think there was one interview I did with the ABC, and they started talking about, are you the Ghostbusters and things like that? And my comment was, well, we don't run around in jumpsuits and things like that. But
I will bring my vacuum though.
Yes, we will bring a vacuum cleaner. We'll dust and clean at the same time. Again, different.
I had the same press agent as Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters.
Really?
And yeah, man, I'm going to give you guys a little known fact that I've never shared on anything else public, is that he gets an extra $500 if he wears the jumpsuit to an event.
Damn.
We'll wear some jumpsuits.
That's easy.
500 a day.
I'll wear nothing for 500 a day.
$20 is $20.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Well, hang on, it's inflation, COVID tax.
That's it. So anyway, we'll get back into what we were talking about. It's very easy for us to get distracted, as you've already seen. So Rob, what was your origin story? How did you first get your interest in the paranormal?
So what happened was, my mom, single mom, wanted to keep my sister from beating up on me. So she would take us out to abandoned houses in the area that were supposed to be quote unquote haunted. And then she had a friend who ran a used bookstore. And I would just go to the ghost section. I'd read about Bigfoot, Loch Ness, everything, UFOs. And I just thought it was kind of fascinating because you're like, if you work in chemistry, for the most part, we have a pretty good understanding. So you're going to spend most of your life just trying to get a better understanding of chemistry. But in the paranormal, we don't know much. So you can jump into that field and you can be the person who delivers. I always said like this. It comes down to, if let's say Gary tomorrow says, wait a second, I thought my camera was broken, but now every time I take a picture, it shows a ghost. They would say he was the greatest paranormal investigator within the 100 years. Could be totally by accident. Like the field is totally open. You can still, make your presence known, and everyone's like, oh, but, you think you're a big shot because you're on TV. TV has nothing to do with it. Don't get it twisted. Being on TV has nothing to, people are like, well, I've been in the paranormal for 22 years and I never got a TV show. That's not how they give out TV shows. You get a TV show because they say, oh, you'd look good on camera, you can talk, you'll be fine. There's no like ghost hunting exam you have to take to see how good you are. So that's how I got started. That's kind of how I got on TV. I got contacted by a production company in Los Angeles, and they said, hey, do you want to be on TV? And I said, no, I'm good. And they said, you didn't hear us. We said, do you want to be on TV? I was like, no, I'm good. You didn't hear me. And they said, oh, But wait, there's more. You could go overseas in 2 weeks. I said, 2 weeks, I was already overseas. Literally, when they called me up, I was in England 2 weeks before they called me.
Wow.
So when they called me and they said, "Oh, but you could go to England." Now,
Been there, done that.
yeah.
Already here,
No,
man.
I mean, if you've ever heard Jeremy when he's being completely inappropriate talking about Americans, he always says,
Well, that could be arranged.
"Hey, look at me. I'm an American. I like my sister cousin wife."
Oh, I'm not from Alabama.
No, we're not from Tasmania either.
I can't say that because I've been to, but anyway.
But it's okay because we
But,
keep them on a separate island.
Well, but no, they like Americans don't generally travel that much out of America. There's this idea like, oh, all Americans are rich. Not true. Like when we vacation within America. So the people that you see in Europe and Australia and Bali and all that are kind of the pretentious rich Americans to give people a bad idea about us. So they thought they were going to tempt me with like, you could actually go to Europe. And I was like, I just came from Europe. I'm good. And so they said, well, look, if you send us a video, you're probably not going to get it. But we have to send so many videos to a network that they can pick between everyone. So could you do us a favor and just send a video? I'll say, yeah, I mean, this is before like you use cell phones and all that. I honestly did it on a VHS tape.
Oh, there's a
So-
blast
back
from
in
the past,
time.
that one, yeah.
Yeah, this was a VHS tape in a giant cassette recorder camera. And my problem was I got self-conscious every time I said
It
So you
happens.
say,
See, now he said that. I'm kind of thinking in my head, how many times have I said it now?
And so I kept stopping. I'd film 30 seconds and say, so I've always been interested in this. And then I'd rewind it. And so what happened was I did one more take and I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to film 2.5 minutes. I'm going to stop. I'm going to shove this tape in an envelope. I'm going to send it. Because they don't care. They just want, it's a numbers game. They got to send in 8 candidates. And so they said to me, if you don't hear from us by Thursday, you didn't get it. And I said, okay, cool. Thursday came and went. Tuesday, they said, you have to leave. I got a phone call and they said, yeah, you were picked. You have to leave tomorrow evening for 2 weeks. I was like, oh, that was a big jump. So I did that for a couple years and got to see more of the world than I'd seen. It was fun. I mean, I don't regret doing it.
Oh, I don't think anybody would regret doing something like that. Actually, that one of the things I was going to ask you about is when you record a show like GHI and you're disappearing all these different countries and things like that. Does it happen all in one go, or do you go away for a couple of weeks, do a few, come back home, and then go away, do a few, and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, actually, what was ironic is some of the people that were on the show lied about how long we were gone for, which I always thought was kind of weird. But at most, we were gone 6 weeks at a time, and then they would send us home for a week, and then we'd go back out for 6 more weeks.
Yeah, because some of the places you guys been. What are some of the most favorite places that you've been?
One of the it's funny that you asked that. It wasn't on GHI. We did, after I did Haunting Australia, we did Beechworth Mental Asylum.
Yeah.
And in Australia, which I truly believe is one of the most haunted places on earth.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
We'll have to get across.
Like if go in a skeptic, come out saying I don't want to do this ever again. Like it's bad.
We've had.
I've kind of had that sort of experience with one of the places we go. Like I went in, I've always had the thought that I believe there was something out there, didn't know what it was. And it's not until I met Gary and a few other people that it's really broadened my horizons. And after having that experience, it's kind of hit me all at once, and I've progressed so much with what I can pick up within 3 months than what I thought I'd ever would in years.
Yeah, there's some good places.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I still come in as a skeptic. I try and, the original Ghost Hunters TV show, their theme was, we come in and we're skeptics. We're hardcore skeptics. And blah, blah. That's not, to me, that's not the right way to go in. You go in with an empty slate. I just want to see what I can figure out. And yes, if you hear a noise, you assume it's a rat or it's someone walking around or it's a car going by. And then if you can rule everything else out, you say, oh, maybe it was something.
Exactly.
But you got to be open-minded. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I call it being a healthy skeptic. You've got to go in.
Not expecting anything.
No, exactly. And then whatever you do pick up, you have to try and explain it away with rational.
Well, you just right. It's Akram's razor. You explain it with the most logical solution.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it make more sense if it was, a draft? There was an episode of GHI. I won't say which one, but we did location, and there's some other investigators. I wasn't there, but they're going, oh, we're hearing these doors slam and it's amazing. It's ghosts, blah, blah, blah. I found out a month later from the producer that it was our PA bringing our dinner in through the back door. And she was letting it slam every time she came in. And they're going, oh, another door slammed. It's a poor PA just bringing in our pizza.
I can tell you a story from way back, very similar kind of thing, actually. When I first started WAPA, which is, my team, the West Australian Paranormal Research, it was 2009, something like that. And within a year or so, it was one of the biggest buildings in Perth City, which it's all been renovated and everything now. But I was able to actually arrange for the team to go in there probably 3 times. And on one of these occasions, we took a few public people with us, just to expose them to what it's like to go into an actual building, which is reportedly haunted and things like that. Now, to give you an idea of the size of this building, it was a quarter of an entire city block, 4 floors up, and there was 2 sub-basement levels. Now, these 2 girls in particular that came on this one was a swimsuit model and the other one was a burlesque dancer. And it was all good. And we ended up in this back room. There was about 4 or 5 of us in there. And we'd split off into 2 or 3 teams going around this building because it was so big. And we actually started doing a question and answer session, EVP session. And we actually said, if there's anybody here, can you make the lights flicker? And they started to flicker. And then, we took it that one step further, can you turn the lights out completely? And as if on cue, they went out and you could hear some shuffling around and people freaking out. And then I said, okay, I want you to turn the lights out now. And the lights went out and there was this big bang. And before you know it, I was slammed up against the wall. It was nothing paranormal. It was a burlesque dancer and a swimsuit model jumping in my knee because they pooped themselves. And
okay,
put
so
a big
are you
smile on
saying
my face. But no,
are you saying literally or figuratively?
No, no,
did they
literally.
really shat their pants?
Oh, no, they didn't shit their pants. No, but, they did jump in my knee. And funny enough, when we all got back together later on, the teams met up. It was guys at the other end flicking switches, and they were a whole block, almost a block away. They didn't know what was going on. They were just playing with these switches, and it was actually hitting things on our side of the building. So it was nothing paranormal, as it turned out. But it's a good story. It's a good story.
Oh no, it was. We had so the scene. If you ever watch GHI, they do the scene where, I walk in with whoever my partner at the time was, Dustin or Andy, and they say, "Oh, we're gonna, present the evidence that we found." Yeah. Now, first of all, that was all nonsense. I reviewed just as much, if not more, than anyone else on that team. So they're playing EVPs that I found back to me, but oh well, what can you do? And
it's
so
all
one
TV,
time,
isn't it?
Yep.
yeah, I mean, what can you do? I mean, but it was legit. It was just we kind of, they wanted to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
So we go in there and excuse me, Barry Fitzgerald says, "Oh, I want to I've got an EVP for you, Rob. Oh, I think you're going to be impressed." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So I put the headphones in and you just hear like and then you hear the girl he was with, the woman he was with say, "Did you hear that?" There's a big pause and you hear Barry say, "Excuse me." It was
If you hear something though, it's not technically an EVP. It's a
it
disembodied
would be a
voice.
disembodied
Yes.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this was a disembodied bell. It was a little different. It was pretty bad, but he did it on purpose because like this is all on camera. I mean, I guess everyone lost it. And he'd been doing it to everyone all day because we'd come in for the second half of that scene, so I didn't know what was going on. But I've heard so many EVPs that are someone's stomach, or
Yeah.
like say you guys are investigating together,
Correct.
and you've
Yes, we
been
do, yeah.
talking all day, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So Jeremy's in there and Mike is talking and Scott's talking, but you forget that you could hear them in the background. I heard a quote unquote EVP the other day where they said, "And no one else was there."
Huh.
I'm saying I can hear this guy talking clear as day for the whole. That's not an EVP. That's a
Yeah.
guy talking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get myself in so much trouble for being honest and saying that there's a lot of the equipment, a lot of the evidence I don't buy.
Yeah.
Like-
We've had many discussions about that. I know that.
Yeah. You and
Uh,
I have talked about that many the time.
I
But
don't see
and,
going
and it's
over.
okay to disagree.
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, like, you have to look at the equipment you're using and say, is this going to give me false positives? Because if it is, maybe I shouldn't be using it.
That's what I mean. Like some
You
of the
know,
stuff we use is fairly simple. I don't have much at all myself. I've got maybe a K2 and dowsing rods. That's
Yes.
about it.
See, we go old school with a lot of stuff. Rather than using
Right.
a lot of electronic stuff, we'll use dowsing rods and things like that, it's a tried and tested thing for many
Oh.
different things. You know what I mean? And it's as good as
Sure.
any other.
Well, I'd have to say
I've
it probably
used
works a bit better.
dowsing rods. I don't use the K2. I'm not a big fan.
No.
It's just me.
Is there a reasoning behind that?
Yes, there is, and I'll share that with you. The K2 was specifically designed to pick up the 50 to 60 kilohertz range, which is completely the man-made range for EMF.
All right.
So if you're picking up something, chances are that it is a cell phone getting pinged. It's a radio signal, it's a power cord, and everyone says, no, we checked that. We already checked that. You can't check when a cell phone tower is going to ping your phone.
Yeah, see, I find that when we've used K2s, a lot of us chuck our mobile phones into like a flight mode and hold the K2 over it. And generally, you don't get a reading. Every now and then you will. But we try to
Right.
kind of try and eliminate as many possibilities as possible for that
Yeah.
going off with no explanation.
My suggestion, I'll send you the link at some point if you hit me up on Facebook. There's a new, not new, but fairly new EMF detector that will actually tell you what you're picking up.
Okay,
It will come up on the screen and say cell phone signal.
Well, that
Alright,
would
so look into that.
eliminate a lot. That would a lot of
And
false
it's
positives.
not as much as you would think. It's cheaper than a tri-field, which doesn't do much more than a K2. I mean, it's better, but it's not great. You know,
Suppose if it's putting out that much information for you and you get rid of a lot of false positives, I suppose spending the money is not going to hurt too much.
it's really not that much. It also can, you know, one of the things that I'm big on is data logging. So it will record, if you want, what time you picked up these different signals. So if you have a voice recorder, you can say, hey, 7:22, we thought we heard something in the next room, and at the same time my EMF meter spiked. You know, so let me go back and see if I can correlate those two later on. Unfortunately, a guy I worked with stole mine, so I'll probably have to buy another one at some point, but life goes on.
Lucky they're not expensive then.
Yeah, they're I'll send you the link. You know, I don't, unless they start paying me, I am not going to promote their name and brand on anything. But I don't think they're looking to do that. You know, my problem is not with K2 meters. If you use a K2, cool. I don't have an issue with that, and you get direct communication with it. Okay, cool. I'm with you. That's great. Spirit boxes, Connect cameras, Ovulus, Puck. You're never gonna sell me on that. Any of them.
We do use them. We use,
See,
and this is one of the things that I can't get over is we used to watch. Just to say this, I don't watch a lot of paranormal TV shows. I know I used to love GHI, and another one which I shouldn't really be naming names, but it was that Paranormal State with.
Oh yeah, I'm a big
Brian.
fan.
Yeah, and then obviously you get into the other one, the other big one, which I'm not going to name, and they came up with the PSB 7, which I bought one way back then. You know, it cost me, I think it was about $60, something like that. And we have had some fairly good activity. It's not something I would ever produce to somebody as actual evidence that there's a haunting going on, but I do get some interesting things with it. But going back to what you were saying before about how the prices of things on the internet are going, I couldn't believe when I was looking at getting a new tri-field or something like that, the prices now are just going through the roof. You can pick up a K2 now for like 30 odd bucks off eBay. But if you go to any of these other stuff that was like 50 or $60 before, you're up at the $300 mark now. It's become a very profitable money-making genre.
Well, I mean, I see people who open these stores, and if you see these people, they sell almost the exact same things. Oh, we make illuminators. We make our own spirit boxes. It's the same stuff. You know, that if you went on the internet, you could make yourself for pennies.
Well, that's
you
one
know,
thing I've actually started doing myself. I saw one of the cameras made with the Connect, and I think retail, I think it's US, they're still going for like $1,100, and I think I can make it for about $200 US.
And I'm not, like I said, you know, I don't. If people are honest, if you say to me, look, Rob, I think this thing really has value, then we're cool. Go to town and do what you do and see what you can find. I just know a lot of people, especially being on the entertainment side of it for some time, who are lying and faking stuff on purpose using some of these things. The Connect camera, the Spirit box, the Ovulus, the Puck, you know. So I'm, you know, everyone said, "Oh, you use the K2." No, you're getting your shows confused. GHI never had a K2 on. Never.
Yeah.
Not one scene, not one shot. Wrong show.
Yeah, I do remember the original Ghost Hunters. They used them quite a bit.
And that's fine.
Look,
you know, good on them.
As long as you're not there just trying to cheat people out of a real experience, I suppose, if it ever happens. I don't think that dishonesty goes very far in this sort of field.
Oh, my friend, I disagree. Dishonesty goes miles
actually,
and miles.
Now that I've said that and thinking about it, I'm thinking of all the other shows that I've seen that are like, that's nothing. All right. Whoops.
Well, and that's what, you know, I was talking about today, that when I started all this stuff and went on TV, I'm so torn because I see people posting on like Facebook and all that stuff and being like, "Oh, but you have to understand anything ghost hunting stuff on TV is all BS and it's all made up and nonsense." I'm thinking to myself, no, I worked really hard to be honest and have integrity and not lie to people. But at the
Mm.
same time, look at all the other shows. And I know how they were doing their stuff. I know how they were faking.
It only takes a couple of minutes of watching it to figure out what's going on.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you something that you'll find interesting. They told me, I'm not going to say who told me, had to do with a production company. They said that about 2.5% of your viewing audience has ever or will ever gone, quote, ghost hunting. Yeah. The other 97.5% is just doing escapism. It's just a quick watch. And so we sit there and we rant and rave and we stomp our feet and say, oh, they're trying to hoodwink everybody. It's nonsense. Nobody cares. The rest, I came out and it's pretty well documented who I railed against back in the past, and he came back at me and I went back at him, and on we went for a while. Everyone knows, what kind of went down. But now I'm like, that individual is a multi millionaire, and I'm not.
Yeah, but would you rather
So
be that sellout or somebody with self-integrity?
sell out,
Integrity in themselves?
bingo.
Yeah,
Yeah, sell out.
I'd
Wait,
rather
are you
still not have the
offering?
money. I'm offering
Oh
what?
no, you were like, give me millions of bucks to sell out. Like,
Oh, look,
you know,
I think I'd rather keep my integrity than sell out.
so I was talking about that today again, and it's the same. I was talking to my dad, and he said, would you change now? Would you go back and get the millions and sell out? No. And he said, so what are we talking about?
Self-integrity, mate.
Yeah, so that's a wrap. So you wouldn't do it. So, let him do what he does, or maybe it's a she. Or in this day and age, we call people theys.
They, them.
So
Yeah.
maybe it's a they.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, just having some garlic bread, but
Well, I didn't expect that
I haven't
one.
eaten. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. I still haven't eaten yet.
Garlic bread and what was it, blue cheese sauce, eh?
No, that was my girlfriend's food. I was stealing her chicken wings, but you know, I for a long time. So a lot of people don't know this. I worked security in Saudi Arabia for quite some time, um, and so I'm not gonna lie, you can't catch me now. I downloaded every Go show off. I'm not gonna name them, but they rhyme with Pirates Bay.
I like that.
Wait, no, wait, I screwed that up. No,
Yeah.
wait.
Yes.
So I downloaded every Go show known to man. And so I watched show after show after show. Um, I'm glad to say that I think by and large, Paranormal State was legitimate.
Yeah,
Um,
that was probably the first one that I ever actually saw. Ryan and the team, and I think like you said, it's a very honest and fairly legitimate, even though, in my view, it seemed to head a lot in the sort of religious kind of demonic side of things. But
yeah.
it's all good, but I don't prescribe to religion, especially in the paranormal. I've said this several times that if you look at all the different holy books, they all basically tell you the same stories from a different point of view. So rather than prescribe to one of those books, I would rather go straight to the source and try and find out what was actually happening without all the different interpretations.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I got my head chewed off for that because I was talking to Ryan and Chad Kalick, who was on Paranormal State in the second half. And I said, yeah, I mean, you guys did take a lot of heat for doing all this demonic biblical stuff. And if you saw them like perk up, like, shut your mouth, they just went off and they're like, we had out of 61 episodes, we had 5 that dealt with the demonic. And everyone says we're the demonic show and we weren't. I said, hey, I'm just saying what people's interpretation of your show was.
Yeah.
And I still talk to Ryan. It's just great to see that he was able to pull everything together and get out of his funk and get over whatever issues he had and is kind of back in the paranormal.
He's back into it now,
on his terms. He does events, he does some ghost tours, but it's very low key. I'm sure he's had plenty of offers for shows which he turned down. So, but
should try and reach out to him and see if he's available for a podcast. I mean, I don't know if he does that sort of thing because I've never actually heard him on many podcasts.
No, I really don't know if he, he's like I said, he's really low key now.
So you go in saying and asking. I suppose the worst thing you can say is no.
No, but
but he won't say that.
Yeah, but you think
and
about it.
That was a weird hand gesture. Nobody can see the video, but Gary gets to the weirdest hand gesture.
Sorry, he's watching me.
No, that wasn't it. But anyway,
okay. What was I doing?
We're not even gonna. We're not going that way.
I suppose they're gonna hear this silent bit going, "What are these guys doing? They're being assholes."
Oh, there we go. He said it. He said it.
Kind of everything I do. That's what people say. But so no, I mean, like, yeah, I think Ryan would be down for a podcast. The last time we did a event together, and it went incredibly well. We sold out this massive theater and just talked.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I like Ryan. I did an event with Chad. Michelle from the show and I are still good friends. I actually hired Katrina to do 2 specials for a channel called Chiller here in the United States. So yeah, I mean, Paranormal State, everyone says, what was your favorite ghost show besides GHI? GHI wasn't my favorite ghost show. I like Paranormal State more than GHI. And I was on GHI. Like, that was my show.
How did you find the actual travel with GHI? Was it fairly full on for you, or was it something that you really enjoyed?
I like the destinations. The travel's rough. You know what I mean? Like when we had a flight from Australia, Sydney to, and you guys are going to hate me, but what's on the West Coast? Brisbane?
No, that's the East Coast. Brisbane's on the East Coast.
No, that's Sydney.
Yeah, I know. Brisbane's on that side as well.
You got Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne. All of them are on the east. We're on the west.
The only thing on the west is Perth.
No.
Yeah. Well, Perth. We're on the west coast ourselves. So
no.
Between you and me, so. Rob, we live in Western Australia, and we know what's in.
No. I'm gonna say no on that one. I don't think so. But anyway, so
we did. We heard a thing, right?
But we're all paid actors here, so Australia is not real.
That's where I was just going. We heard this thing that apparently some Americans don't believe Australia is a real country, and that whenever you see an Australian on a TV show, it's just an American actor putting on a funny accent and saying that they're Australian. There are people out there that actually believe that, apparently.
Well, wait, are you guys saying that's not true?
We can neither confirm nor deny this accusation. Well, yeah.
I mean,
look, Americans struggle to do the Australian accent, so I highly doubt we're paid actors from America.
Exactly. All we can do is say mate. Because like, hey, I'm Australian, mate.
Oh, I was waiting for the whole shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, oh God, that's painful.
Oh, it is.
Like, oh, sure. When I was doing Haunting Australia, here's my favorite Australian story. myself and one of the other people from the show went into a bar. Two
Oh,
guys
already
walk
sounds
into
like
a
a
bar.
Is this a joke or a story?
Oh, it went bad really quick. And it was a biker bar, which you guys could appreciate.
Yes.
And so they said, he said, one of the things that people do here is you take a shot and you turn your shot glass upside down and you slam it down on the bar.
Yeah.
And that means I will whoop on anyone here. And so, of course, I take my shot and I start turning it upside down. And my friend from the show is like, don't know. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And so I slam it down and there's these two hulking Aussie guys and they look over and just laugh their asses off. They're like, oh, that was, we heard your accent. You're American. Like, that's funny that you did it. We'll buy you a drink. And we're just totally cool. Like, nobody took it serious, but my buddy was so terrified that we we're going to get into a massive brawl. Like, honestly, people ask me, like, how were people in Australia?
So I don't think people here
friendly
really give a crap about anyone doing that anymore. It's kind of
laugh at
people
school?
now that do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did it anyway.
Oh, I would have. Why not?
That's it.
But we actually had someone in when we were doing an episode who was pretty well faced. It was because we we're doing a bar, and this guy's just falling off his stool drunk, and is going, fucking ghost bull stuff.
There we go.
Yeah, we talked about that was the only F-bomb. That was the only F-bomb I've done in 43 minutes. I'm
quite impressed that I haven't slipped up a few times.
Yeah, right.
It's part of the language here in Australia.
Yeah, every second word generally. If we're off microphone or camera, it's it's quite colourful.
Just to give you a little heads up, the very first show that we recorded for over an hour.
Yeah, and I think we got about 10 minutes worth.
By the time we cut all the F-bombs and bits and pieces out of it, we had a 28-minute show.
We should just cut a segment out and send it to Rob via email, and he can just look at it and go, "These guys are complete dicks."
Yeah, no, I mean, but honestly, everyone said oh, so how was Haunting Australia? I thought Australia was brilliant. I loved filming there. I loved the people, and I could name other countries that I was like, everyone thinks they're so nice and so friendly, and they're not. You go to Australia and everyone's like, oh, they're really brisk and angry. Not what I saw.
No. So did you actually make it over to the West Coast or?
Yeah, Brisbane.
Brisbane, yeah.
So you pull up your Google Maps and look where Brisbane is. It's to the
north
of
on the
Sydney.
West Coast.
No.
Right, on the West Coast. So I did an event in Brisbane on purpose because I'm on the West Coast. Yeah, over in the West. So and because that's just kind of
yes, we worked it out. It costs Australians down under.
You guys are upside down. Yeah, you see.
All right, we'll let you off.
So we had a packed house. We had 40, 50 people there. And I said, I just want to say thank you so much to all the people of Brisbane. And I get 50 people at the same time to all go, Brisbane. I said, right, whatever. So anyway,
I just put my hand in my head and just went, oh, geez.
But everyone shouted at me at the same time. And so, of course, I let it go for a few more sentences. So if you guys are ready, Brisbane, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I thought it was the most entertaining thing in history. And these people are getting furious.
You think you're funny? What does it matter?
I mean,
exactly.
It's funny what Americans think about Australia because I was watching. Not to do advertising. I was watching this show. Alias, that one with Jennifer Garner, I think it is, the spy one. And one of the episodes was shot in Australia, but the cars were still American. You see, we drive on the other side of the road here. The steering wheel's on the other side of the car.
You get that with a lot of shows, though. Like when you watch the old Nordic shows and they've got American accents, it's like, hang on a second.
And then you hear the American actor putting on the Australian accent, and oh my god, like I said, the one thing worse than an American doing an Australian accent, it's an Australian doing an American accent. So
but look
I
at
think
all
we're
the-
equally bad.
That's why look at the
Yes.
female Australian actors that talk constantly with an American accent. It's like, it's not right.
No, it's not. Anyway, we've got to get back onto the paranormal sort of thing.
Well,
Right.
We've talked about where you've been and things like that, and what your favorite place was. What is your scariest situation?
Remember when Madonna started doing a British accent for no reason? Like,
Actually, I
yeah,
do,
you
yeah.
lived there for 2 years. What is that? Wait, what was the question?
What is the scariest situation you've been in when you've been on one of the shows?
Oh yeah,
Take them.
yeah. No,
take
I
Madonna out of it.
I was over in Brisbane one time on the West Coast.
And the horde of 50 people turned on you.
Well, hey,
That's
I
about
made
half the
money.
population.
Scariest?
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. I people always go, oh no, you got scared in this place. Somebody, made a big noise and you jumped. That's startled. That's not scared.
Yes.
Have I ever been? I can't recall a time on TV where I was scared.
Well, not even on
I really
TV.
can't.
Just in
place that
general.
you've been in
Anytime.
general. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I guarantee you, I could name 100 situations I've been in life that were scarier than ghost hunting.
You can't mention the animals.
Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, you break it down. You've been on TV shows, but you and I, we all know that that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real stuff that we do away from the TV cameras is way outnumbers what you'd see on a TV show.
I mean, so a lot of people ask me that, and I'm always like, I was accused by a producer of one of the shows I did, and he said, the problem with you, Rob, is you seem like a TV repairman. You just seem kind of bored. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a ghost here. Wham. Let's go look for it. Well, I've been doing it 30 years. More than over 30 now. And so I'm not going to be like, what the frig? I'm so terrified. Like everyone else does. I'm really not afraid of it. So I would say that the scariest thing to me about the paranormal, and a lot of people ask about this, is the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
And people say, so nothing's going to follow me home, right? Well,
yes,
here's
we
a
hear that all
question
the
for
time.
you. Well, but here's what it comes down to. If you jump into a swimming pool filled with mud and then walk out of it, are you clean?
No.
God, no.
You're still covered with this muck. So you want to go into the paranormal and then go, I blessed myself, nothing followed me home. That doesn't mean anything. You don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's rolling the dice. And I have had stranger things happen to me, when I went home than on investigations. When I was in the Middle East, I swore, I mean, I saw it. I saw a shadow cut from the hallway to the kitchen. And at the time I said, oh, why the heck is my son up at 11:30 at night? And then I realized that my son was with my ex-wife. There was no one in the house, but I saw that shadow figure clear as day.
It actually
And that
stumps
was
me. Yeah, it actually stumps me how close you and I are in the experiences that we've had. I mean, again, I've been doing it for over 40 odd years.
Yeah.
Very similar kind of introduction to you. Well, not so much, but the way we started studying about it and getting into it. And I had a very similar thing when I was at home, when I thought it was my son, when I saw a shadow going through. And again, it's something that you can't really escape. When you watch these shows, and again, I'm not going to pick on specific shows, but they'll do a prayer, to protect them when they leave a place or before they go into a place. And when you watch or you go out with a group and they do this same prayer because they've seen it on a TV show, it's not the words of that prayer that mean anything. It's the intention
No,
of the people saying the prayer.
exactly.
That's what it does.
Thank you.
And they don't actually follow that. They just think, I've said the words, I'm good. And
No,
it doesn't
I'm
work.
wearing a cross. I'm protected. But
Yeah.
it's not a talisman.
No.
Like if you don't believe, like almost every form of religion has its own protection.
Yes.
But you have to believe in it. Like you just said, if you don't believe and you just go through the my Father who art in heaven, that's not going to work, dude.
Not
Like,
unless it has meaning to you. Yeah.
then don't do it.
Exactly.
Most of the major religions say don't do what we do.
No.
But in my opinion, somebody's got to do it. Unfortunately, thanks to a show that has gone this entire episode remaining nameless, everyone's jumping into it. I mean, I wouldn't say boast adventures, but I mean, it's similar to that.
Yeah, I've seen that one, I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about, mate.
Snuck that
I've
one.
never heard
I guess
anything.
sent that right over both your heads. You would never figure it out.
I'm kind of stumped. Is it a kitchen cooking show or
It is My
Post
Kitchen
Adventures?
Rules Australia.
Isn't it about
So-
cooking about one of those meals? What's it called? Rock,
No, you've
rock,
got me.
rock flagons or something like that.
And you know what? I will say, I've talked to that individual. He is like a smart guy. Like his business sense is better than all of us. He's really good at what he does. He's just not what we are. Like we're people who look for ghosts and he does entertainment, and it's two different things.
It's very fine, but it's got to be marketed that way. You know what I mean? You can't pass it off as the real thing.
But
when
no
it's
one
an
would
entertainment.
watch it. Would you
Yeah, I know.
watch it if they can't admit it? They have to say, this is legit, and oh my god, what's going to happen next?
I suppose if you've got to push how legit it is, how legit is it really?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, having done it for over a decade, how legitimate is most reality TV?
It's
Almost
scripted.
anything you watch, it's scripted. Some of the biggest shows in America, because you know how to make a great reality show.
Write
Don't
it.
make
Yeah, right. Don't let people do what they
don't
want to do.
yeah
No
yeah,
free will.
Don't make a reality show. The best way to make a reality show is to make a scripted show and pretend it's reality. And they can sue me all they want. The Kardashians, Duck
It's definitely all
Dynasty,
scripted.
it's completely scripted. They found the scripts.
What about that real one, that Tiger King thing?
Oh, that's 100%.
That was legit. Sadly, that was legit. Oh no, and a popular paranormal TV show did his Tiger Adventureland in Tampa. I don't know if that episode,
Show.
yeah,
Yeah,
somebody's
episode.
getting tired. Episode, I don't know if that episode has aired yet, but one popular show on Travel Channel actually did Joe Exotic's Tiger Kingdom.
Oh no, that's not good.
He'll do that show will do anything for a little bit of hype.
Giant face palm.
You know
Hence-
something?
yeah.
We're just about out of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
To
we might
be
have to get
sure.
you back on and do a whole other show.
Well, I did actually have one question before he tries to shut me out.
Yeah, of course, brother.
Do you still find yourself now today, while not doing these TV shows, just going out and investigating bits and pieces for pleasure?
Yeah, that thank you actually a lot for asking that. Because a lot of people are like, wait a second. So, how long since you've done, investigated? I'm like,
About half an
I
hour.
never stopped. Yeah, I mean, I was Amanda, when's the last time we went to, what was the last location? A week ago? Yeah. So we did a location a week ago and a week and a half ago and 2 weeks ago. And people are like, yeah, but you're not on TV.
Oh, it's
but-
the real thing now.
But I investigated before I was on TV. Why do you think that because I'm not on TV, I quit. Because you think that it was all a gimmick, it was all an act when I was on TV.
And that's the sign, that's the sign of the real people that still do it when the cameras aren't around. But while we're on the subject, why don't you give everybody a little bit of a plug about Cold Spotters Paranormal?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as Cold Spotters go, if you come to my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Robb Demarest, or as we say, Bob Demarest, you can find information on Cold Spotters. Also, Amanda Quill, spelled the same way it sounds, Amanda Quill. We are networking. Our objective is to be a legitimate, widespread organization that we can look out and help each other and be honest about what we do. It's been blowing up. The response has been tremendous, and we're really excited about it.
That's fantastic. And Amanda will attest to this, that WA Paranormal, which is our team, and Cold Spotters, we're actually sister clubs.
Yep, absolutely.
There's the biker file coming out. We're clubs.
no patches.
Sister teams.
Yeah. Also, Amanda she gets whispered to me that she wanted to let everyone who's listening know that her breath smells like a cat's paws.
Right. So is that Quill with a K or a Q? We made a point of saying it's how it sounds.
QUILL. Amanda Quill. She is really the brains behind the organization. It sure as heck ain't me. I'm just lazy and dumb, and I go, remember when I was on TV? And she's like, you say that every damn day. And that's kind of my go-to saying. Hey, put on when I was on TV.
Do the dishes. No, I was on TV.
Hey, that's a legitimate excuse. That
she's been calling me Paranormal Forrest Gump for about 3 weeks now.
As long as it's not paranoid Forrest Gump, you're all right.
Yeah, so absolutely, Cold Spotters. We recommend that you check us out if you have any questions. We're also always looking for other teams that want to band up and help each other out. We don't ask you to be, well, you have to leave your team and just be with us. No, you have your team and you work with us, and we'll help each other out. That's what's really going on. Yeah,
exactly.
And Gary knows. Gary can vouch for it. Gary and I have been around this block for a while, so he can vouch for it. I just want to thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I think it's going to be a fantastic podcast, and I wish you guys all the best.
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on the show. You were always going to be number one for us. We think you're awesome, and we hope you'll come back one day.
Absolutely. Also, I think you guys ruined any chance of getting Pac Maggins.
I don't know what recipe is that. Is that a rice recipe?
Hey guys, what's up, dudes? I just want to send you a big shout out to Australia. What is it? Hey, can I get my secretary in here? Australia.
Well, yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Close, very close.
No, yes, I think we may have ruined any chances of.
He did say he was going to start drinking, and towards the end he would start slurring. But
oh yeah, absolutely, that's a given. And obviously I haven't been in Australia in a couple of years. Just want to say big thanks to everyone in Brisbane, Sydney, whatever other weird cities you guys pretend to have.
Oh, mate, we've got some absolute crackers.
I suppose though Perth is one that they can pronounce properly because there is a Perth in America.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
One that you guys never seem to get right are little things like Mandurah.
Right, like Perth.
Or Cockburn.
Or Cockburn, yeah. It's spelt Cockburn but pronounced Coburn. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it is.
And Gary, I don't want to blow up your own show, but Gary, you're a Brit.
I was born in the UK, but I came over here as a
expat.
As a criminal.
I did have the operation where they removed part of my brain. That makes me a legitimate Australian. So
Oh wow. Well,
It's okay.
hey guys, you got one episode, and then no one listened ever
No,
again
no,
because of that
No,
comment.
there's a lot of British that'll probably tune in just for that quote there.
I have to correct you on that. We did do the first show, which was reduced from an hour show to a half-hour show because of all the language. That's probably because the part that was removed was my filter.
I just wasn't born.
Oh. All right, guys, I got to wrap up. We're hitting that time. It has been fantastic. I will see you again next time.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you,
taking the
mate. You've
time.
been an absolute legend. So that's our show
appreciate you.
finished. Oh, sorry. Rob is still going.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Rob never stops. You guys go ahead.
I was just going to close out. So thanks, everybody, for listening in. And we have more shows coming soon. So we look forward to having you all listening in. See, my speech is slurring and it's only morning.
No worries, guys. I'll say thank you for tuning in and keep it spooky.
See you later, guys. Thank you.